JSD Cool here, and welcome to another episode of Coolcraft Season 5. Now, in the last episode, I finally completed the project that I've been working on for months, and the reason why I haven't had many videos. This rail system to automatically transport stuff to storage 5,000 blocks away. Check out the last episode if you want to know the details. In this episode, the first thing we're going to do is connect up the ice farm that we made 2 episodes ago to the rail system, which is just here out of render distance. Now, despite this not being a very far distance, it will still be a lot of effort to remove all the terrain, then actually build the whole system, but it will take like 2.4 seconds on your screens. So enjoy my suffering, will you? Won't you? But hey, stick around, because after that, I'm going to build a clay farm, which is, you know, a new thing in 1.19, I think. Alright, the digging has been completed, and by digging I mean I dug this section out, got bored, and decided to get the TNT out. But yes, the pathway has been cleared, so now it's time to actually build the required structure. The overworld side has been completed, as well as hooked directly up to the farm output, so that whenever I stock this, we can start using it right away. Now to build the nether side and exterminate this creeper. The nether side has been completed. As well as that, the portals in the overworld have been stocked, as well as the routing being configured. So the only thing that is currently left for this current location is to actually put the minecarts themselves in to get items transported over to the storage system. Minecarts have been installed. I mean, wow, what a progress update, right? I got minecarts, they're now loading up stuff. Alright. That's done. However, I have found another problem with the system. So, over here at the nether side of the final chunk loading grid for the storage system, it thankfully has not currently gotten to this situation, but I found it in this situation once before, where because this thing right here goes over a chunk border, there was an issue where somehow the chunks got unloaded, or were loaded in such a way where a couple of the comparators just kind of forgot what state they were in, or that they had to update their inputs and outputs, so it just kept the same signal not changing through here, which meant the portals were on indefinitely. That wasn't really bad, because their items didn't disappear or anything, so it was just chunk loading this area indefinitely, which is a waste of server performance. So I'm gonna have to do something to fix that. Alright then, just a quick and dirty little setup where there's a couple pistons moving across this chunk border here next to the comparators that are most likely to be affected by this, which is also controlled by this circuit up here. So hopefully this will never have any issues again, and now let's get on to building that clay farm. I have finally finished gathering the materials for this build, and oh boy, that took significantly longer than I anticipated it taking. I was like, oh, this will only be a couple hours. No, it was days of mostly waiting, but days of material collection. First it was the 5,000 dripstone I gotta get. That's taken a while. I gotta go find a couple caves, and that was it. And then it was, I need 7 stacks of honey blocks, and no one has any, so I have to go over here and build up my own little honey thing just to get enough bottles to do so. And now I've done that, and yeah, I'm finally ready to get started with this. So yeah. Oh god, let's get started with building the first part. done. And so is my semester. So I am back home, finally. And back now, the audio is back to the way it was a couple months ago and a couple months before that. But anyhow, back to Minecraft. Obviously, I have finished building this contraption, which is a dirt-ish type generator. Designed by Ilmango. So there we go. I did not design that. I could never design anything this weird and complicated. It has TNT dupers, despite the fact that they don't actually contribute to the output. Now, I haven't actually switched this thing on apart from the bone meal generator at the back here to fill this up, and it took like a day of running that to fill up. Yeah, see, you can tell there's still some bone meal to fill up all 3 of these modules with bone meal. Although I hope so. Yeah, that's fun. I also did modify this design a little bit to add this this redstone line here, which when this is on, it also turns on the bone meal generator because they weren't connected like that for some reason. Hopefully this can supply this with enough bone meal. If not, I have to build more bone meal generators. But anyhow, yeah, let's give it a bit of a test now before we go on and build the second part of this. All right, so hopefully it's doing something good. Okay, got some water flushing out. TNG exploding. Nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? Here, note block sector. Ooh, okay, hold on. I gotta stop this thing. Alright, false alarm. Everything's working great. I figured out what was wrong. It just had to run through a whole cycle before it actually started attempting to make the trees and stuff go into what they are. But yeah, we did have a couple things like this, and actually figured out what the TNT dupers are for. They're to make it so that there's not 12, because these blocks here get pushed up to, I guess, remove the logs. So the TNT dupers are to remove stuff so we don't hit the push limit, and then this whole thing will fail. But as you can see here, we got a couple bits of rooted dirt over here, and similarly for these other modules here. So this thing is actually working. I just was kind of mistaken on how its functionality, because I've never actually started it, I don't think. So yeah. Now let's hop into another time lapse where I build the next component of this contraption, which is also incredibly big and will take hours and hours and hours. Many hours later. Damn, it's been a while since I've built this many or this much of complex redstone contraptions. But anyhow, many hours later, it is finished for the most part. Yeah, this here, also built by Ilmango, is a clay drying machine which takes in the rooted dirt from the contraption we built earlier and slowly runs it over this dripstone, which dries it out into clay, where it will then be put into this new age fangled blast chamber here, which I actually have to do some stuff to put in a TNT duper here, because it did not come with one by default, so I have to do some redstone so that that works correctly. But besides that, a cool feature of this contraption here is that it comes with 2 separate bypass modes to allow this farm to actually be able to make 3 separate outputs, which I think I will probably have to end up being able to store at the other end, but that's not important. What is important is what those modes do. So the first one is right here. It is this lever here, which is for this piston, which will bypass directly to send rooted dirt into the blast chamber. The second bypass mode, which is this one, comes right after the mud converter, which is what this dispenser setup here does. And that will send the mud directly over to the blast chamber without drying it, and of course then clay will go there normally. Now, something I realized when I was building this giant contraption is this is going to be incredibly overkill, as this whole thing is built for a continuous stream of mud / rooted dirt to be coming in, and this farm here is decidedly not producing a continuous stream of rooted dirt. So it'll be very slow output, but theoretically it'll be the same speed output as it otherwise would have been, but it will definitely be an output of solid clay. The TNT duper upgrade has been installed, and as you can see, this is a newfangled design that I found recently, which specifically doesn't use any slime blocks, which is actually kind of a miracle because I've never seen one before this that has 0 slime blocks involved. But yeah, from what I gleaned, the way that this works is that the TNT is currently powered by this redstone here, but it hasn't registered that yet. So once this piston pushes it against and this coral block over, it will then register, of course, do the TNT dupe. The TNT will move over, but also one will fall down into that trapdoor, which has water on it. So even if this for some reason were to ignite, it will not blow shit up, which is good. Then once these blocks are pushed over, this redstone here will be activated, pushing this target block out, which will redirect this redstone, no longer powering this block. It will then push everything back over, so the TNT is in its current position. This target block will be retracted, returning this to its current state. The TNT still hasn't updated, and we're back to where it started. Now, I was trying to test this earlier, but I kept running into an issue. This stone generator here kept having a weird issue. Specifically, this piston here would not extend after it pushes out to go over, which means that when this piston extends, it pushed the block that this got pushed up just out, which will eventually break the system if left unchecked. Which is so confusing to me, because I have no idea why it's breaking. This is exactly identical to that cobblestone generator, that stone generator there, and that stone generator there. Additionally, it is identical to the one in the world I got this contraption from, and yet this just does not work. And I don't know why. There should be nothing around here changing its physics or interactions. I don't know what I'm going to do to fix this. Maybe I'll just remove all of these observers, or just completely remove this thing from here and move it over there a little bit. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's broken currently, and needless to say that I may just have to do something about this. What? I don't know. Maybe I'll just disable the middle one here, which would be a shame because this thing already has a pretty low production rate as is. But in other news, as you can see over my shoulder there, the mud thing is working. It hasn't yet gotten enough to actually start drying out to clay, but it is at least working. So at least most of it's working. Apart from this one specific section here. Alright then, I think I have found a workaround to the issue. Now, let me be clear. I did not fix the issue because I actually still do not know what causes the issue to happen. But I managed to go far enough down the chain from where it was failing here to find a location at which I could make an adjustment to prevent it from happening. So basically what I'm doing is I first of all detect when there are blocks moving here, right here. I have a little bit of a cooldown going here so that once the blocks stop moving, it will then attempt to pulse these pistons again, clearing any blocks that may be hanging out in front of them that shouldn't be there. Now, in addition to that, I've also come down here to the bottom and added one more item to these hopper clocks at the bottom to make them delay the start of the next cycle by a slight bit more. The reason for this is because the moss was probably already starting to be generated inside of there when the last stone block could potentially have been pushed in. That would replace the moss block with an actual stone block, probably prevent a rooted dirt block from actually being pushed out, and then also then we would get a block of stone going into the output eventually. So I didn't want that. So I delayed things by one more block in those hopper clocks. And hopefully that, and actually, no, not hopefully, I did test this. It will now work in theory. I've also put this obsidian block here to prevent if this block doesn't actually get pushed out, to prevent it from just starting to extrude upwards. Oh, also, one more thing quickly. Apparently, I forgot to place this piece of redstone here. It's not consequential as the machine was still kind of working without it, but I think it's just quality of life to make sure everything works fine. So yeah. Whoa, wow, how did I miss that? Anyhow, let's fire this thing up now, and yeah, hopefully that's this now finished. The only thing that is in theory left to do now is to attach this blast chamber here to the storage system network there, but considering we did a farm connection at the beginning of this episode, I will leave that for in between episodes, and next episode we will move on to something new. I've also realized that I built this thing to be way too overkill, as just on the third push in on each of these rows, everything's basically already clay. But hey, just in case, I guess it's good to have all this. Won't hurt things, hopefully. So yeah, anyhow, now I'm gonna have to say thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out my game, which is linked in the description, and I will see you all in the next episode of Coolcraft Season 5. Bye!